Boys, there's been lots of rumors, speculation of this fighter's gay, and because of all that stuff being brought into light, I have made a gay tier list for around 18 UFC fighters who I think should be on this list. I most likely forgot someone while making this list, so let me know in the comments below if I forgot anyone. But as you can see, top tier, S tier, we have Jeff Molina. Just below that, we have Hella Zesty, then we have Zesty, Experimental, and then 99% Straight. Jeff Molina isn't on this list because it wouldn't make any sense, but there's only going to be room for one person on that Jeff Molina ranking. But with all that being said, let's go through every single fighter that I have here, and I'm going to give you my explanation of why I think they deserve to be on this listing. Starting off with someone that we just saw last week. He was in the main event, Matus Nicolau. Now, I'm not saying this man is just straight up homosexual, but the way he got flatlined by Alex Perez like that, that's a little zesty, I'm not gonna lie. You know, watching that first round, yes, there's an argument that he did win the first round against Alex Perez, but I was just thinking in the back of my head the whole time, like, damn, Matus Nicolau is looking a little bit different this fight. Looking slightly more zesty than normal, and then just getting flatlined the way he did. You know, I couldn't be like that. Just hella disrespectful, and that's why he's in the zesty tier list. Let's move down to someone who also little bit zesty, I'm not gonna lie. Cyril Gahn. Is it just me, or during some of his interviews, you guys just get a little bit of like that gaydar going off while Cyril Gahn is talking? Plus getting finished by John Jones the way he did, it's a little zesty, I'm not gonna lie. Moving on, we have someone you guys probably wouldn't expect to be on this list, but I don't know, guys. Drew Dober. Even in this picture, he looks a little sus, I'm not gonna lie, but Drew Dober, a little bit experimental, I could see. You know, we already know what his preferred type is. You know, his same preference in the octagon, I could see his same preference in the dating life. He does have children and a wife, so, you know, maybe once he gets some drinks in him, you know, gets a little bit experimental. Drew Dober, perfect example of experimental tier. Moving on, we have an Irishman, Ian Gary. Now, just all the things going on in his background life, like, you know, the whole wife situation, the whole ex-husband thing, him being on a vegan diet. This man, he's hella zesty. Let's be realistic. Watch any interview with him, watch any post-fight interview, any interview at all. This man just sounds hella zesty. Starting up fake beef with fighters for no reason. I don't know, just screams of hella zesty behavior in my opinion. All of the accusations for him and his wife and the ex-husband definitely doesn't help at all. But moving on to someone joining him in that hella zesty tier list, we have Conor McGregor. Honestly, he's even more zesty than Ian Gary at this point. Now, don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot of Conor McGregor fans here. I don't want you guys to going crazy in the comments hating right away. Be realistic. There was a point in time, it still happens today, where you have to be very careful looking at pretty much any Conor McGregor social medias. There was a point where I was opening Twitter and I just see this man staring at me in the eyes, blinking hella zesty at me, then panning down to him in a freaking Speedo on one of those training bikes, just, you know, that shit was about to poke me in the eye. I'm not about that hella zesty behavior coming from Conor McGregor. This man has so much money that he can literally buy or have any woman he wants. But at a certain point, I guess that gets a little bit too old. So what else is he gonna do other than move to the other side? Hella zesty behavior coming from the notorious Conor right here. Let's move down the listing to someone who's 99% straight. That is Song Yadong. You know, the only reason I put him on this list is because of his name, Yadong. You know, kind of zesty behavior having your name as Dong. But you know, that is very prominent in that side of the world, having names with Dong in it. So can't fault him on that. So, you know, 99% straight for Song Yadong right there. Let's move up to someone who also is kind of zesty. I'm not going to put him full hella zesty. I'll put him just at the very cusp of being hella zesty, and that's Jailton Almeida. You can't tell me that it's not a little weird to take Derek Lewis down, not do that much like ground and pound. I mean, I guess he did finish him on the ground, but most of that time, if you do remember watching that Derek Lewis fight, most of the time, Jailton Almeida was literally just laying down on him and just staring at him. It was one of the most awkward fights to watch, I'm not gonna lie. Moving on, we're gonna speed through some of these guys. We have Aljamain Sterling. Fighting style, it's kind of zesty. You know what he said, trying to get his title shot to Peter Yan, hella zesty behavior coming from Aljamain. But you know, just that fighting style, constantly shooting, not the most straight behavior. And because of that, we have to put his butt buddy with him, Merab definitely becoming more of a fan favorite with all of his skits recently, but just both of their fighting style is very, very zesty. We can't deny this. Moving down the list to someone who's probably with Drew Dober. Honestly, he's just on the cups of being in that zesty tier list. That's Colby Covington. Poliana Viana already exposed him for, liking certain fingers in certain holes, so we're just gonna put him in that. Very, very experimental from Colby. I don't see him going full like Conor McGregor level, but a little experimental here and there. Moving up the list, I don't know where I should put Yair Rodriguez. I'm not gonna lie, most of the time I would put him at maybe like 99% on the cups of being experimental, but I just can't look at him the same ever again since that interview with Michael Bisping when he was throwing his temper tantrum because he eye poked Jeremy Stevens. I can't look at him in the same way, so that was kind of hella zesty behavior. I'm not gonna lie. Because of that, I can't justify it putting him any lower than just zesty, because that was the textbook definition of zesty behavior coming from an MMA fighter. Okay, let's move on. Let's add some more people in that hella zesty tier list. We have Ryan Hall. Same thing applies that with Aljo and Merab, but fully encompasses Ryan Hall. This man does not strike at all. His preferred game plan is to nut hug, take a hold of your leg, just pretty much wrestle around with sweaty half-naked men, and because of that, that's just hella zesty behavior. You cannot respect that kind of game plan going into any fight. And yeah, hella zesty behavior coming from Ryan Hall. Let's move on. Israel Adesanya. This man, it's like, where do we want to put him? Is he a little bit more zesty than Conor McGregor? Yeah, honestly, but Conor posts some pretty disgusting, eye-burning things, so I'm gonna have to put him just behind Conor McGregor. Is there really that much of an explanation that we need to put for Israel Adesanya? Honestly, someone that could realistically go in that Jeff Molina area, but we'll put him here, hella zesty. Let's move down the list. Another, I think, very, very end of the list, experimental, Sean Strickland. I don't know, guys, like, is it just me? Are you getting a little bit of like very, very closeted, gayness coming from Sean Strickland? Some of the stuff that he does say is literally him projecting his own insecurity, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does the same thing when he talks about like homosexuals and things around that nature. That's why experimental, but at the very end of it, there hasn't been any like super concrete proof of it other than that one picture, that weird ass picture he posted that Paulo Costa is using. But I got a feeling that there's some demons in that closet with Sean Strickland, if you know what I mean. Let's move over to probably the middle pack of zestiness. I'm gonna put Tyson Nam. Very, very just like extra with everything he does. His movements, his way he speaks, his way he walks, everything is a little bit extra. I'm gonna put him around here. Maybe I'll move Matus down a little bit past here, and then this is a good lineup so far. Let's move over. We're gonna pretty much just stack this zesty list right here. Moving on, we have Damon Jackson. Same thing with Tyson Nam, just a little bit more. And then the king of zestiness, I hate to do it, we have Chris Barnett. It just, as much as I love Chris Barnett, you can tell, there's some zestiness in the way he does his front flips, in the way he celebrates, as much as I love the guy, there's a little bit extraness to him. But we have two more people on this list. You guys probably know who the last two are, and this ending might shock you, but to finish off the hella zesty list, someone who's going to be right behind the Jeff Molina list, someone who could honestly be in the Jeff Molina list, we have Jordan Levitt. Now you guys are probably wondering who's in the Jeff Molina list if it's not Jordan Levitt, because we already know Jordan Levitt. He's busting it down after winning in the octagon, after slamming some poor dude on his head. He just starts busting it down. Could you imagine getting knocked out by Jordan Levitt and then waking up to him twerking on your unconscious body? Honestly, just pure nightmare fuel at that point. But with that being said, there's only one more spot left for the Jeff Molina list, and that person, you guys probably know who it is by now. I think Guru is on to something, because John Jones is hella gay. Let's be realistic here. John Jones is gay. I think Guru said it best. You have to be extremely closeted gay to beat up a woman multiple times. because that is the definition of just closeted gay behavior. But that being said, you guys have to let me know, how did I do on this tier list? Is there anyone that you would move around? Me personally, I think this is the best listing so far. I don't know who I could add differently. Let me know if I missed anyone, because more likely than not, I definitely missed some fighters on this list. You guys are probably wondering, why is there no women's fighters on this list? That's because if we did, 80% of the roster would be on this list. But you guys have to let me know, am I missing any men fighters on this list? Put them in the comments below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss any of my newest videos. And yeah, there's really not that much else left to say, except for I will see you guys in my next video.